Hi Parvathy, so it looks like you've got some new essays for us. Let's get right into your correction. The internet, shopping, working, and communicating. Are there more advantages or disadvantages? Let's see what you had to say. So, in today's world, the use of technology is ever increasing. Experts from both the developing and developed world have debated whether the use of technology should be limited or encouraged. This essay will discuss both the pros and cons using examples, don't forget your S here, from the U.S. government in a hypothetical situation to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, it's fine. So, next paragraph. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that technology is singular, so has, brought more harm to society than ever before. The central reason for this is twofold. Firstly, when people are glued to their computers or gadgets, they have no contact to the outside world. They do not meet people physically. As a result, they lose the personal touch. Secondly, when one is so engrossed with high-tech gadgets, he or she often does not get enough exercise. This could lead to obesity and other health problems. For example, recent empirical research by the U.S. government demonstrated that 30% of people who are obese and single are, I think you mean are so. That's what you're missing here. Are so. You're missing the word so, which refers back to being obese and single. Are so due to the lack of interpersonal skills as they spend more time on their computers or smartphone. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that technology has singular, obvious drawbacks that need closer attention. All right, it's lovely. Well developed, good job. So, next. On the other hand, although there is a case for modern technology bringing negative effects, I would have said to society, bring something to something. The impact of social media, search engines, and online shopping cannot be overstated. This is largely because the flexibility of time that one can have cannot be denied. Okay. Shopping online, for instance. How about this? By shopping online, for instance, one can order almost anything with just a click. Hang on a second. I'm trying to work out the grammar here because you're saying obviously your subject here is one. So by shopping online, one does not, that's what it has to be. One does not have to leave the comfort of one's home, and a considerable amount of money on traveling can be saved. Consistent with this line of thinking is that one can actually communicate with friends all over the world without spending any time or money on traveling. The world is at your footstep. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that technology has a great impact on society. That's lovely. Nice expressions, good support. You did some nice grammatical things, more advanced, kind of difficult. You could see that even to correct it, I had a little trouble kind of working it out, but I did. So it was very nice. I liked it. So moving on to your conclusion. To conclude from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that modern technology has greater benefits. However, it should be used with caution. It is predicted that technology will only keep growing in importance. Very nice. And in fact, I really liked even the way that you used your semicolon here. So in terms of grammatical structures and range and accuracy, in terms of your coherence and cohesion, even in terms of your task response, I'm really quite happy with this essay. It's definitely doing what it should do not at the minimum, but even more than that. The vocabulary was fine. You had a couple of nice expressions there, some good collocations. So it's a nice attempt. Now let's look at this one that a lot of people seem to have problems with. Now, looking at yours, it looks kind of short, but it might just be the way you've typed. A lot of people have trouble with this because it's difficult to kind of select trends. So let's see how you dealt with it. The line chart, The line chart given highlights the amount of rainfall in England, Scotland, and Wales for the period of 2018 between January and December. Overall, what stands out from the graph is that for all three countries, the figures fluctuated tremendously. England had the most. I really don't know what you mean here. What is catchment? I probably would have said England had the smallest range of rainfall throughout the year. because, yeah, it fluctuated, but certainly not to the degree that the other areas fluctuated. So I don't know why you used that word. You could have just said had the smallest range of rainfall or something like that. You also could have said the most rainfall, because consistently, and if you took it on average, it probably is the most. Moving on. Looking at the details, as regards to England, I have a question mark about that expression. We usually say with regard to England or as regards England. I have to double check to see if you can actually say as regards to England. My first instinct is to say no, but again, I would like to check before I tell you conclusively. So looking at the details, whatever, for the sake of argument, with regard to England, rainfall, I really don't know what you mean by catchment. Do you mean, I don't know what you mean. I'm not really sure. So rainfall, that's really what you should be saying, was approximately 110 milliliters in January, and then plummeted. There was no reason for an ing here. And then plummeted in March to 90, and dropped even further in June to 70, being the lowest, not the lowest drop, but the lowest figure for the year. However, it increased in July. Well, wait a minute. Now, I'm not entirely sure what your instructions are, but if we take it very literally, this is 2018 and we're still in 2018, which means that anything from today on really is considered future. So anything that deals with July for sure would have to have future tenses or to indicate that there's some sort of prediction. So what do I mean? However, it is expected to increase in July, reaching 125 ml, slightly lower than Wales, which was 130. Now, I'm not sure why Wales is coming into the mix here. You've only gotten to about halfway through the year. You're still on England, and all of a sudden you throw in Wales mid-year. I don't know why. It's not the clearest to me. Maybe you're looking for a segue, but I don't know that this was necessarily the best way to do it, because it's like, you start here, you go all the way here, and then you say, hey, Wales, and then you go back to Wales from the beginning. I'm not really convinced that that's the best way to organize this. So, Wales had the lowest rainfall in January and in December at 48 ml and 52 ml respectively. It stayed at about the same from August to October, yeah. The same as what, though? As same as the figures for January and February? Oh, okay. All right, yeah, for January and December. Fine. That's accurate. So, as for Scotland, the rainfall dropped and peaked dramatically. In January, it started off at 130, but plunged in February to nearly 20, and climbed again in March at 140. I would have said to 140. The same result was achieved in October. All right, so, Parvathy, I really think that you've left out a lot of information. Now, essentially, the way I look at these line graphs, especially when they're chronological like this, is they're really telling you a story. So when I listen to a story, or say, for example, watch a movie, I want to know the beginning. I want to know the key points in the middle, but I absolutely want to know how it ends. So I feel like you've only given me half the story here. I don't have a full story. If I don't know where these figures end in December, then I really don't have an accurate picture, do I? If you look at them, the way they started the year essentially is more or less how they ended the year. So check it out. England, like 110 maybe, and it ended in 120. If you look at Scotland, also 120, 130, let's say 130, it ended a little lower at 105, for example. And even Wales, it started at 50 and it ended around 50. So it's really important. You're telling a story here in these chronological line graphs. So tell the story in full. For me, the most important thing is the beginning, some important elements in the middle, and then obviously the end. Okay, so don't leave that out. It's like you're telling me you're only telling me half the story. You did some nice things, though. There were some nice elements, but for me, that's an important point, okay? So work on that. I'm not sure if you have more essays for us. I think you do. I want you to think about what I said with these kind of dynamic, these chronological charts, how important it is to give that key information in the beginning and the end, and then selecting kind of cautiously which points in the middle are worth mentioning. For me, the biggest thing here was that, and then of course the way you organize it, like the way you went from Wales and all of a sudden you were here in Wales and all of a sudden, choop, you went all the way back. So that for me also felt a little unnatural. There are other ways to structure this for sure. So keep on writing, correct these essays, send them back to us corrected. Interested to see what you write next. I hope you find this feedback helpful, and that's the kind of information that will really help you progress in your IELTS writing. So best of luck. Can't wait to see what you write next for us.